you know, it's time to do something different. Like, we're not going to have this conversation again. I have come on the air with breaking news about requests for gag orders because of threats for judges and their kids more times than I could count today before I got ready. And Judge Ludig, I think it's time, I don't know who has to write the banners at the bottom of my show. I'm sorry in advance. But Donald Trump broke the rule of law. We should cover a broken judiciary in this country. Donald Trump managed to delay every federal criminal trial based on facts that he barely denies. Donald Trump managed to enlist the Supreme Court in a delay process, the highest court in the land. Donald Trump brazenly and repeatedly attacks not just judges, and I've had the privilege of sitting across not just from you, Judge Ludig, but from Judge Esther Salas, whose son was assassinated by a crazy person. Judges don't have Secret Service protecting them. They don't even always have, I mean, her child answered the door. What are we going to do different? Because Donald Trump sure as hell isn't changing.
Good Monday morning and welcome to another edition of Is This Thing Working? Hey, how you doing over there, Denise?
I am good today on this Monday. Another day of craziness over the weekend that we get to talk about. It's always fun on Monday. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Yep, welcome. I hope everybody had a great Easter holiday.
Yeah.
Got to spend time with your kids, your grandkids, everybody going out hunting some Easter eggs.
Yes, it was fun. Yeah, we had a good time. We got to spend time with our kids this week, our little babies, our little grandbabies this weekend.
Yep.
And watch them hunt Easter eggs. And we did this thing that was different, and I thought it was pretty cool, is we had Easter Sundays. So we went for like a brunch. You know, well, actually, it was like between
2 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
2 and 4. So, you know, it was more like a snack. So we all had Easter Sundays. Of course, when we got over there, we were just supposed to do Sundays, but someone did cook us dinner. Yeah. So it was really cool. It was really fun.
So Easter Sunday became Ice Cream Sunday.
It became Ice Cream Sunday. So it was really fun.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it, and the kids enjoyed it too. So I hope everyone had a blessed Easter. And now we're on to April Fool's Day. So nothing that we talk about today is April Fool's, though. It is all happening. But before we get started with the show, can you please do us a favor and share the show with all your friends? Also, stomp that like button. And please follow or subscribe wherever you see the name. Is This Thing Working? You are helping us grow. And by the way, it's really exciting. We doubled our numbers in February, so we are so excited, and thank you so much for all of your help because we put you in the room.
Exactly. And while we do sit here and boast about our numbers being doubled, we know that only happened because you're the one that made our numbers double. We thank you for that.
Very much so. But guess what we're going to start today with?
Yeah, we got to start with our cold opening.
Nicole Wallace from MSNBC absolutely had a meltdown because she got Loomered on live TV, and it was really fun to watch. But that's what this MSNBC does. All they do, they're nothing but actors. I swear they don't even give out the freaking news the way it's supposed to be anymore. Because if you listen to Nicole Wallace, President Trump, he doesn't have any rights whatsoever to take his cases to the Supreme Court to say, hey, this is wrong. She just sat right there and says that he has barely denied anything. But he has denied every bit of everything they've brought against him.
And here's the thing. Unless he walks in there and says, I want a plea bargain, or he walks in there and goes, I declare myself guilty, then he has every right to defend himself.
Yes, he does.
And if that means delaying something so that a higher court can appeal a bad ruling by a judge, he has that right. That's what's so crazy. She's so mad that we're using the lawfare system and we're going to bring him down with the lawfare system. Oh, wait. He's using the lawfare system. This ain't fair.
I mean, it's
just really Trump deranged syndrome is real.
It really is.
TDS is real.
And it's bad on MSNBC. It is really bad.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So we continue to bring you their crazy.
Yeah.
Because they're crazy.
And I guess, do you want to give them a little background on what's really going on, the reason that she's even talking about this and having the meltdown?
It's because she was Loomered by Laura Loomer. She brought out some pretty, raunchy news about the judge's daughter and how this whole thing is political.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to read a little bit of what she brought out. She says, exclusive bombshell report. Judge Merchan's daughter has Kamala Harris as a client at her company that focuses on campaigns and elections. Judge Merchan, the New York State Supreme Court judge who issued a gag order against President Trump today, has a daughter named Lauren Merchan. She is a president and partner at a company called Authentic Campaigns that boasts Kamala Harris as a client, that also have Trump hater Adam Schiff as a client. An X account belonging to Lauren Merchan under the handle Lauren M426 shows her profile picture is President Trump behind bars in a jail cell. FEC reports also reveal that Lauren Merchan is a frequent ActBlue donor to Democrat candidates. This is absolutely a conflict of interest for Judge Merchan, who is engaging in election interference. He should recuse himself from President Trump's case immediately. This is why Nicole Wallace was having a meltdown, because this is the truth and they can't handle the truth.
Right. And the only thing that they have to depend on right now are the corrupt, Soros bought and backed judges.
Yes.
We talk about our court systems being corrupt all the time.
Yes.
And this is a huge example of it. And it amazes me how much the world has changed, because this should have been a slam dunk case.
You know what? They continue to bring these cases against them and they have no evidence.
That's my point. This should have been a slam dunk case in his favor, to where the judge hears both sides. This thing should have only lasted, an hour or two, maybe. Just give
be dismissed totally.
Exactly. Give your opening statement. The judge is going to go, no, we can't do this. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Go try another court.
But no, they're activist judges.
Exactly.
And they talk about all the time how they want to, that they don't want Republicans to judge shop, but that's what they do.
That's why they don't want you to do it.
Mm-hmm. So they find the most craziest judges to take on these cases.
Goes back to what we've always said. The way to beat these guys is play their game and beat them at their own game.
Yeah.
And now that we're beginning to do that, and people are beginning to finally pick up on this principle, now Nicole Wallace is mad because you can't use the system the same way we use the system.
Yeah, that's just not fair.
Watch them within. If this begins to really take effect and begins to work really good, watch them begin to begin to tell us how we're breaking the law. Watch them.
Oh, she's already saying this. Well, there's a gag order. How dare someone talk about the judge's daughter? There's a gag order. But you know what? There's a gag order against President Trump. Guess what? There's not a gag order against Laura Loomer. And there's not a gag order against me or you.
Exactly.
Or anybody else.
Exactly.
So guess what we're going to do? Spread this far and
going.
wide and keep on going.
Yep.
But everyone heard yesterday and Saturday what happened all weekend when your president decided to bring out on Saturday a proclamation on Transgender Day of Visibility 2024, which was supposed to take place when? On the 31st, which is a Christian holiday, Easter.
Let's kind of separate this and what we're talking about, because when you hear the term Transgender of Visibility Day 2024, okay, you'll hear people go, well, what's the big deal? It's been out since 2015, or it's been out since 2009.
I know, we've heard several.
Okay, and maybe it has, and who cares? I really don't care one way or the other whenever it was created. But the reason that the big talk is so big today is because this is a proclamation coming from our government, and it's a huge slap in the face to each and every one of us. Basically, what they're telling you is they're nationally proclaiming that we support transgenderism, that we support conversion, that we support mutilating our children, that we support confusing our children. Man.
Yeah. I just think it's crazy because, it just seemed like the way it happened when it's Easter weekend, it's Holy Week leading to Easter weekend, for one thing.
Uh-huh.
And then they want to come out the day before, and I think they did this on purpose the day before to get all the hoopla over before the actual day. The attacks and all that. But the White House doubles down on Biden's Trans Day of Visibility message given on Easter Sunday, saying he will never abuse his faith for political purposes after his fierce backlash. And he got a big backlash over this. The Biden administration, they had drawn lots of conservative voices that were angry about this, including Vivek Ramaswamy and Caitlyn Jenner because of his statement on Easter Sunday. Trans Day of Visibility is celebrated on March 31st, but happens to fall on Easter. Biden was slammed for banning Sacred Truth and Tradition by Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House. So on Sunday, White House spokesman Andrew Bates penned a statement addressing the backlash. As a Christian who celebrates Easter with family, President Biden stands for bringing people together and upholding the dignity and freedoms of every American, Bates says. Sadly, it's unsurprising politicians are seeking to divide and weaken our country with cruel, hateful, and dishonest rhetoric. President Biden will never abuse his faith for political purposes or for profit. You know, I'm just going to say something about this right here. That is a lie.
I was fixing to say
that is a lie.
Everything he just said is a lie.
You know why? Because they continue to call us Christian nationalists. They use this, our religion, as a political talking point every single day, calling us Christian nationalists like it's a bad word, like it's a bad, bad thing.
Yeah.
So I don't believe anything these people say.
His first comment there is what got me the most. He goes, as a Christian who celebrates Easter with family, President Biden stands for bringing people together and upholding the dignity and freedoms of every American, Bates says. I know that God says we're not supposed to judge the hearts of each and every, of our fellow brother. We're not supposed to judge the heart. I can't tell you whether you believe in what you believe. You know what you believe in, okay? But also, we are known by what? The fruits of our labor, right? We're known by who we are. We're known by the words we speak. We're known by the attitudes we carry. We're known by the things that we do. That's what defines me, and that's what defines you. And our faith is the grounding that we take and we use in our daily lives that make us who we are. But let me tell you something, and I'm going to say this right here. It says, as a Christian who celebrates Easter with his family, President Biden, if, and this is if, and I agree with, this goes back to what I heard Charlie Kirk say the other day. If President Biden claims to be a Christian, how does President Biden support abortion? If President Biden is a true Christian, how does he support all the activism and all the social justice warrior crap that the LGBTQ is doing? If Joe Biden is a Christian, Joe Biden would have understood Sunday, March 31st, 2024, is Easter Sunday. That's the day that we celebrate the resurrection of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And as a Christian, if he believed that, he would have put a stop to this. He would not have came out on a Saturday all proud and smug and stand there and do. This is a direct attack on Christianity, and this is a direct attack led by none other than President Joe Biden. Because, and I'm going to say it, I don't care that these groups come out here and organized all of this and came up with the name and the principle behind all this crap. But my point is with that, if this man is competent, if this man is a leader of our country, if this man is there to truly lead the people of the country and what the people's vision of this country is, he would have never stood up and done this. He would have never stood up and said this. He would have put, what do they say? He would have nipped it in the bud immediately.
Well, I agree with you. And another thing he says stands for bringing people together and upholding the dignity and freedoms of every Americans. That's also a false statement. He wants to come out and say that President Trump is dividing and conservatives are dividing. No, sir. No, sir, at all. You're the division. You just divided the country when you did this on Saturday.
again.
You divided them again, and then blame it on someone else.
And offer no apology whatsoever.
No, and you just double down.
Yeah.
Double down.
Yep.
You know, and Transgender Day of Visibility on Easter.
On any day. But yeah, on Easter. Yeah.
Yeah, slap in the face, like you said.
What do you want to keep moving forward? Because I could sit here on a soapbox for
I
a
know
long time.
that one. So we're gonna go into something that's kind of just some FYI for your information only. Y'all know AT&T. They said, what did they say? I don't know what they said because my computer just went crazy. AT&T resets passcodes after 73 million current and former users affected by dark web leak. So users impacted by the leak will receive an email or a letter from AT&T regarding the incident and what information was compromised. I think this is crazy, and I think everyone should know. This should be out there everywhere. And for some reason, it's like one of these little articles that's just thrown out here. AT&T said that personal data from 73 million current and former users was leaked, and the phone giant has already reset passcodes of millions of customers who were impacted. The data set, which appears to be from 2019 or earlier, was released on the dark web about 2 weeks ago, AT&T said Saturday. The information was leaked, varied by customer and account, but may have included full name, email address, mailing address, phone number, social security number, date of birth, AT&T account number, and passcode, the company said. AT&T is offering free identity theft and credit monitoring to individuals who may have been compromised by the leak. This is funny. A preliminary analysis shows that 7.6 million current AT&T users and 65.4 million former users are impacted. This was crazy. I wonder why so many former.
Old data, maybe.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's an old data file.
Maybe unprotected data. Since I don't know.
I don't know, but this needs to be watched. And please go check out your AT&T if you have the app. You can know soon enough if your passcode needs to be changed.
Well, yeah, and how do you know?
I know.
How are they going to notify you? Oh, here we go. Users impacted by the leak will receive an email or a letter from AT&T regarding the incident. I get probably 200 emails a day,
Yeah.
and probably out of them 200 emails a day, I get 198 of them or spam or junk. So I'm gonna have to pick through all of mine to find out whether.
I know, and also they
call
said,
me and leave a phone message.
They said they will. What they say they were going to let you.
They're going to cover the cost of your.
That's it. That's what I'm trying to come up with. AT&T is offering free identity theft and credit monitoring to individuals who may have been compromised by the leak. Have I already read that?
Yeah, you've already read that,
Oh, okay.
but that's
I just
their
wanted
only.
to point that out.
Yeah.
Again, because it's that's what they're going to do. They're going to give you free identity theft.
Yeah, here's the thing. They're not going to tell you, okay, well, we're going to take this measure to tighten our security up. No, we're just going to give you free identity theft and credit monitoring. Well, you didn't do too good with that the first time around. Well, why am I going to trust you now? You're not going to stop the problem. You're just going to give me this free. You're just going to do it now, and it's not going to cost me anything extra, I guess.
I guess. Well, what I thought was crazy is that they made a point to say this had nothing to do with the outage that affected more than 71,000 customers about 2 months ago? Last month?
Yeah.
I remember our phone was out for a few hours.
It was last month.
Yeah, and they said it was 71,000 customers. Me and James were talking this morning, and I think it was more than that.
Yeah, it went out on us during our show while we were trying to put our show together.
Yeah.
It went out on us, man.
Yeah, and it was not the result of a cyber attack, but rather an issue in a process that the provider was performing to expand its network.
Yeah.
So who knows what all's going on with AT&T, but yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah, was that work that day that they were doing going to help protect us from the data breach? Apparently not.
Apparently not. Maybe it happened during that, and they just don't want to tell anybody.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
shoot. Anyway, but we're going to move on from AT&T because, you know, these big companies anymore, they're always doing something with their data.
You can't
It's everywhere. You can't trust them. You're right.
You can't trust nothing you hear out of them.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing. But we're going to move on to breaking news. I'm sure you heard about it this morning. We heard about it too. Texas judge orders release of illegal migrants accused of assaulting troops during violent storming of El Paso border. It is the ruling of the court is that all the rioting participation cases will be released on their own recognizance. Judge Acosta ordered. So, yeah, this one's up there because everyone is in an uproar this morning. You know, on Sunday, a Texas judge ordered the release of illegal immigrants who were arrested during the recent viral storming of the border. Everyone knows the one that happened in El Paso. You've seen the videos. The presiding magistrate judge, Acosta, ordered the release during an online teleconference bond hearing per the El Paso Times.
He says it is the ruling of the court that all the rioting participation cases will be released on their own recognizance, Acosta ordered. And he orders this because the El Paso District Attorney's Office wasn't prepared to move forward with the detention hearings for each defendant. On Monday, though, there will likely be another hearing for additional accused individuals. So
in other words, he wasn't moving fast enough.
Okay, but if the DA comes up this morning and goes, well, hey, I'm ready, are you going to go back and get those guys? Where are they? They're just released on their own. When do they show back up? Are you going to go get them? Where are they? They're illegal. Where are they?
Yeah. I mean,
insanity, man.
It is insanity.
Yeah.
There were 79 illegal immigrants that were arrested last week on misdemeanor riot charges in connection with the storming of the border. An official from ICE told the New York NYP that ICE is holding more than 200 illegal immigrants in connection to the incident, but federal authorities are not being as cooperative as Border Patrol, which means that charging them will come as a challenge. And this goes back to that bill that we need the courts to hurry up with. They're holding this. They're holding this bill on purpose so that we are not allowed to arrest these people. You know what I mean? I mean, the number of immigrants detained on suspicion of riot, a Class B misdemeanor, is unclear, although Acosta stated that hundreds of arrestees were entitled to 48-hour hearings in individual custody. Acosta denied the Assistant DA Ashley Martinez's plea for a postponement so that the hearings may take place at a later time. He says, so if the DA's office is telling me that they are not ready to go, what we're going to do is we're going to release these individuals on their own recognizance.
Because you can trust them.
Yeah,
you know.
You can so trust them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's, 200 people, I guess maybe 79 that the DA has to get cases for.
Right.
You know, so.
And so are you detaining the other remaining 200? Are you detaining them? That was kind of my point with the question earlier about, well, what if the DA comes up this morning and goes, well, hey, I'm ready. Those others, or are you going to release them too?
I wouldn't be surprised. That's the federal government's thing. They find these activist judges like.
Yeah, this goes back to the corrupt judges. What I was ranting on about earlier, I guess.
Yes, it really does. And speaking of, you know, I mean, this is bad. I mean, we're going to be watching this with this judge because he's just letting them out. And now they're out here in Texas, and there ain't no telling. They're probably not even in Texas no longer. You know, if they get out on their own recognizance, you think they're going to stay?
Well, that's my point. Yeah, they're not trustworthy to begin with. And not only did they riot, just like the article says, you know, there was plenty enough evidence against them to hold them. I don't know what about this 48 hours thing is, because from what I understand about the law is, yeah, you can be held for questioning for a certain amount of time, but if you're not a suspect in that, they can't detain you for longer than that.
Right. But I think they have to arraign them within 48 hours.
Oh, okay. You have to arraign them.
Yeah. You know, that's like if they bring you in and you have to go in before a judge to set bail and all that within 48 hours. Yes, that is a rule.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's like, they say 48 hours, and you know why they do that? Because if you get arrested on Friday, there ain't no judge there till Monday
Yeah.
to arraign you.
Exactly. That's like what they bring up. They bring up a lot of the evidence that they have against them. You know, they found knives, they found shanks by them. During the encounter, at least one of them made an effort to take hold of a soldier's firearm.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many charges against them. I don't see
understand
how you.
why they're misdemeanors.
Well, I don't see how they weren't arraigned. You know,
Yeah.
if they were all involved in this, and I guess maybe that's what they're talking about the individual cases. Each one of them has to be heard individually instead of collectively.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
But since then, Texas has increased a number of National Guard troops and Department of Public Safety troops down there at the border. So now they've moved from the one side of Texas where we finally got it to stop over there to El Paso. So now El Paso sector is overrun. So, yeah, we're going to be watching this. It's going to be cool. But we're going to stay on the judge topic because we've been talking about these Texas federal judge. And I thought this was really cool and goes along with what we've been talking about today because Texas federal court, thank goodness, will not adopt the policy against judge shopping. So we were talking about how the Democrats judge shop. Well, Schumer here, U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he sends out this letter. And he was taking aim at the practice of Texas's judge shopping. A federal court in Texas that has become a favored destination for conservatives suing to block President Joe Biden's agenda has decided not to follow a policy adopted by the judiciary's top policymaker body that aims to curtail the practice of judge shopping.
When I go back to the crazy leftist fight, we're going to do it, but you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. This Chief U.S. District Judge David Goodby of the Northern District of Texas announced the decision in a Friday letter to Democratic U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who had urged him to implement a new policy that aimed to ensure cases challenging federal or state laws are randomly assigned judges. So, in other words, they want to be the one to pick the judge.
Randomly,
which is what they do. Which is what they do in these, like we've been talking about. These judges, they have been doing this in their cities, in these
for years.
For years, they just they pick these judges that will rule their way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so we've been watching it. We're watching the lawfare against President Trump, and that's exactly what they're doing. They have picked these activist judges. I mean, think about it. Engeron in New York. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
You think he's a real judge? Someone that would actually take away a man's wealth because you don't like them?
Well, he did.
He did.
He
Or
tried.
he tried anyway.
Yeah.
And they can't stand it that President Trump has the right to fight back.
Right.
I mean, they were so angry that they didn't take his properties. They just melted down. You see why Nicole Wallace is angry? Because President Trump is winning against their lawfare, whether they like it or not. And you know what else he's going to do? He's going to win the presidency.
Well, and people, that's why this is so important, is because we all sit back here and we watch this happen. You've got to have the thinking in your head, because it's reality. If they were successful in doing this to him, they're going to do it to you.
And they are. They are going to do it to you.
Is this thing working?
Rise up.
Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. You know, we couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise.
and we'll see you next time.
We're out.